Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
First, giving honor to God and to my pastor who had to leave, but my name is Barbara Manning, and I'm from Greater Mount Olive Church of God in Christ. And this book that I'm going to be talking about is the book of Esther. And there are only two women in the Bible, and that's Esther and Ruth. Two books in the Bible that are Esther and Ruth. The other is the book of Ruth. In the story of Esther, you meet a beautiful young queen who risked her life to serve God and to save her people. Yes. The author of the book of Esther is unknown. Some scholars suggest that it's Mordecai. The author sets the scene for the main action by describing Queen Vesta's downfall. Her replacement was Esther, and how Mordecai prevented a plot against King Ahasuerus. In the days of King Ahasuerus, who reigned from India to Ethiopia, he reigned over 127 provinces, and he was king of Persia. When King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne in Susa, the citadel is a fortress that sits high up on a hill. In the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a feast for all of his officials, servants, army of Persia, media, nobles, and governors of the provinces. Everything was decorated with great beauty. The feast lasted for 7 days. Everything was lavishly decorated with gold, silver, marble, and fine linen. King Ahasuerus' beautiful queen, Vesta, also gave a feast for the women in the palace. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he asked his eunuchs, which were castrated men, to bring Queen Vesta before the king with her royal crown, in order to show the people her beauty, for she was lovely to look at. But Vesta refused to come at the king's command. The author does not say why Vesta refused to come. Even the queen was expected to obey the king. The king became enraged, and anger burned within him. Queen Vesta refused to obey the king's command. She refused to come in front of all of the officials and all of the people. After this behavior, Queen Vesta was never to come before the king, and the king gave her royal position to another person. Now, after King Ahasuerus' anger had subsided, his men told him to take one of the women from the virgins. Now, there was a man named Mordecai, Esther's cousin. Esther's father and mother had died, and cousin Mordecai had taken Esther as his daughter. We find this story. We find he asked her to go into the king with the virgins. And when the king saw her, he was obsessed by her beauty, her grace, and her poise, more than any of the other virgins, and she won his heart. So he set the royal crown on her head and made her his queen. The story of Esther's rise from an unknown Jewish girl to become the queen to a mighty empire illustrates how God uses events and people as instruments to fulfill his promise to his chosen people. Esther, a member of a family carried into captivity in Babylon, that later chose to stay in Persia rather than return to Jerusalem. Now there was a man named Haman who had grown to hate Mordecai. And the reason he hated Mordecai was because Mordecai would not bow down to him every time he passed the king's gate. And when he found out that Mordecai was a Jew, this made him all the angrier. So he wanted Mordecai and other Jews to be killed. This man, Haman, was the king's trusted advisor, all because Mordecai would not bow down to him. He was mean, he was vindictive, and he was an ambitious individual. One day, this angry individual, Haman, went into the presence of King Ahasuerus and told him there was a man named Mordecai who was a Jew, and he was part of the Jewish population that did not have the king's interests at heart. Haman wanted revenge. So Haman set up a plot to take the lives of Mordecai, Esther, and the Jewish population. Mordecai went to his cousin Esther, told her what Haman had told the king about wanting to hang Mordecai on the gallows and killing of the Jews. Mordecai also told her, if all the Jews are to be killed, her family will also die. So don't think just because you are in the palace, you are exempt. After Esther told the Jews what Mordecai had said about Haman wanting to kill Mordecai, all the Jews, including Esther and her family, she told the population of Jews that we must go on a 3-day fast and pray. And then I will go into the king and relay the message that Mordecai, my cousin, has given me. After the 3-day fast and prayer, Esther went into the King Ahasuerus' chambers and told the king that Haman wanted to hang Mordecai on the gallows, that he had built and killed all the Jewish population. Also, Mordecai heard 2 other men talking about killing the king. Esther told the king that she would give a party and invite the king and Haman. The king told Esther to have Haman and all 10 of his sons hung on the gallows. Because of Esther's fasting and praying For 3 days, God honored their sincerity. Saints, we are living in perilous times.
Man.
Fasting and praying is necessary for us today. The world is running rampant in racism. There are wars and rumors of war. But we have a God that's looking and he's looking. We must keep our minds stayed on Jesus. Even today, the Jews celebrate their deliverance. We as Christians must do the same.